Okay, in this video we're going to continue working on our globe, and in this one we're going to work on our cloud layer. And so I'm going to go and select my sphere here, and I'm going to go ahead and do Shift D, escape, so that way I just duplicate a little bit in my navigation menu here. I'm going to actually change the name of that new sphere so it's no longer Earth.001. We're going to call this one Clouds. You could also say Cloud Layer or whatever you want, but Clouds works. And I'm going to go over to my materials, and I'm going to go ahead and delete my Earth shader there. I'm going to do Shift, actually I'm going to go and do S, and then I'm going to do 1.001 just to scale it up ever so slightly. I can see my scale over here, so I got 1.001. Which is all good. Actually, let's move that up just a little bit more. It's going to be very close. So I'm going to do, I'm actually going to just type in the value here. So I'm going to do 0.008. And I'll click in here, 1.008. And this third one as well, 1.008. There we go. And unless I, excuse me, reapply the scale, this will show me compared to its original size where I'm at. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start to work on the shader for this one. So I'm going to say New, and I'm going to take my outliner here, and I'm going to go ahead and shift that into my 3D view. And I'm going to go ahead and do Shift Z, so that way I see it as a rendered object. So right now all I can see is the cloud layer there because it's blocking everything else. And we will get rid of that here in just a moment. So I have my material output here and my diffuse shader, which is good. And I'm going to go ahead and add a transparent shader. So I'm going to say shader, I'm going to Shift A, shader, and go to transparent, put that in, and I'm actually going to put this one in the top instead of the bottom. I could always, actually I need a mix shader here, just a second, Shift A, shader, mix shader. Okay, so output, I got my mix shader, and I'm going to put my transparent shader in the top channel here. See why later. And in my rendered view, you can see I can see it kind of coming through there, where I can see that a little bit if I shift my factor so I go all the way towards my diffuse or all the way towards my transparent. That's what I get. I'll actually use clouds to figure out the transparency there in just a moment. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do Shift A, and I'm going to select Input, and we're going to do a texture coordinate. I'm going to move this back here. Shift A, I'm going to go to where it says Texture, my main menu. So I got texture, and then I'm going to go ahead and put in a image texture. Drop that in there. I'm going to go ahead and take the color channel to the diffuse. And I'm going to go ahead and take the generated to the vector here. And right now I don't have any image in there, so you can see the purplishness coming through, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and say Open, and I'm going to go to where I have my images, wherever you stored that. Mine's in Globe Project Cycles. And I'm going to go ahead and select clouds.png, open image. On my image texture, I need to make a couple changes, so I'm going to go ahead and change this to sphere. And that looks pretty good. Looks good over there. And okay, so now I'm also going to include a bump map for this. So I'm going to do Shift A, and we're going to go to Vector Bump. And I'm going to use the clouds as the bump map here. So I'm going to take the color data and put that in for the height, which works nicely because I have a black and white picture basically for the clouds. And then I can take the normal out of that channel and put it into the diffuse. And we're going to shift the strength down a little bit to about 0.44. And the distance we're going to leave at 0.1.